Welcome into Sports Talk at the stadium. Kevin McCrary here at a now empty Neyland Stadium. Earlier today, there were about 100,000 plus fans rooting on Tennessee. They got a great game, probably got a little more gray on their head after watching the Vols get out to an early big lead, 17-point lead, and then hang on for dear life at the end for South Carolina. Man, another close but no cigar situation for them. Just a near miss. 2 weeks in a row, they've had the ball in the fourth quarter with a chance to tie or win the game, and both times it ended in a turnover against Texas A&M. They never really had a chance. Tonight against Tennessee, they certainly did have a chance. They were moving the ball before Jarrell Adams fumbled there inside the 20. Actually, he was closing in on the 10-yard line when he was stripped from behind, and Tennessee recovered, and they hold on to win by 3. Uh, Moral victories don't mean anything to anybody. But I'll tell you, the South Carolina Gamecocks could have done a heck of a lot worse, and I thought they were going to do a heck of a lot worse than they did today. I was one of those people that thought Tennessee had a chance with their offense and the way this matchup was for the Gamecocks to really roll up a big number. And at one point early in this game, Tennessee had 172 yards of total offense. USC -1, and the Vols were up 17-0. But the Gamecocks fought back. They tied the game 17-17. Tennessee scored to go 24-17, and then the Gamecocks bounced back to make it 24-24. You got to give Sean Elliott a ton of credit, given where this team is right now. Steve Spurrier bolts in the middle of the season. I think today he was in Nebraska, crossing the Husker Nation off his bucket list of places to watch a football game. You got all these questions around the program on who the next coach is going to be and what's going to happen next. All these players, they're not immune to that. They hear all the chatter. They know that the future is very much up in the air, but they find a way to battle. And I know I've seen it on social media. Some Gamecock fans are saying, I'll never be happy with the moral victory. Nobody should be happy with a loss. No one's going to throw a parade for a loss. But I do think you want your team and your players and your coaching staff to not mail it in, to at least fight to the end, even if they know it's probably for a losing cause. This is a team that's not going bowling. They're not going to win their next 3 games. They're not going to beat Florida. I know they didn't look good today in my eyeball test, but they're still a good football team. You got the Citadel. Yes, I still think the Gamecocks will beat the Citadel, although the Bulldogs are off to a very, very solid start. They're 6-0 in the Southern Conference. Forget all that. They're not going to beat Clemson, top-ranked team in the country, rolling right now. This is a team that's playing for essentially just pride, playing for Gamecock pride, trying to play for themselves and play for each other and play for Sean Elliott. And no, that's not going to get them into a bowl game. It's not any votes into the AP top 25, but it should give them a little credit from the people out there that call themselves fans of South Carolina athletics, because the going's tough right now, and they're not quitting. They're not mailing it in. And I've seen football teams mail it in many times. And this is just a team, quite frankly, that's still devoid of playmakers and talent. They still need more guys that are only going to be able to be brought in via recruiting. I do think it's impressive that they've still managed to improve and get better despite all of the things and distractions happening around them. They're still getting better. They're still developing players and playing decent football in stretches. I thought the defense tonight played its best 3 quarters. After those first 2 drives, the defense really and did some nice things. I mean, they look like a defense out there. They made some nice adjustments. So I've been pretty hard on John Hoke the past few weeks and what they were doing there with that Tampa 2. But tonight and today against Tennessee, give them credit. They found a way to get some stops, put Josh Dobbs in some uncomfortable situations. So that's very good to see, I think, if you're South Carolina, and that kind of effort, because this is one of the better teams, certainly one of the better offenses and quarterbacks that they faced this season. The Gamecocks, it kind of gets lost on you, but they haven't played really good quarterbacks other than the opener against North Carolina. And I know a lot of people are still trying to figure out how South Carolina won that game. The Tar Heels haven't lost since. Williams is a pretty good quarterback. But after that, Drew Lock at Missouri, he's been a bust other than the game against South Carolina. Grayson Lambert at Georgia has been a bust other than the game at South Carolina. They make quarterbacks. A kid at Texas A&M last week had never started a game, and he looks like a Heisman candidate out there. They haven't been good defensively this season and haven't made it tough on quarterbacks, but they made it kind of tough on Josh Dobbs. So baby steps. Again, you're talking about a loss, but not all losses are created equal. They could have lost 50-10. I mean, Tennessee has a kind of team. The way South Carolina have been playing defensively, they could have rolled up 650, 700 yards of total offense and 50-plus points if the Gamecocks didn't make some adjustments and get going and step up, because that's where it was headed, down 17-0, down 14-0 quick in the first quarter. Boom, boom. Tennessee scored fast. They had 4 plays of 20 or more yards on their first 9 plays. It didn't take them long to do it. So it was a mess out there for the Gamecocks. It could have been really bad, but they found a way to fight back. And I think that is a very important thing to note. Sean Elliott deserves a lot of credit. I don't think he's going to get the job at South Carolina. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I think he has done as well as you could ask a guy in his spot to step in there into this position, an untenable position. It wasn't. These problems aren't all his fault that he inherited. He was part of the staff. Certainly, he has to take a share of the blame. That's how it works. But he's done as well as you could ask anybody to do in that spot. So give Sean Elliott a lot of credit. G.A. Mangus continues to do a great job calling plays. The offense, it's looked better each and every week since G.A. Mangus started calling the plays. So that's been very impressive. You're seeing some younger guys starting to make a few plays. DJ Neal left with a hip injury. It came back negative, so he should be okay. But I like him at the wide receiver spot. I think David Williams had a few nice runs in there. And Perry Orth had 3 touchdowns. And this guy's taken a beating out there on the field and off from a lot of people. But you can't ask a guy to play any harder than he's playing right now. You can't ask a team to really play any harder than the Gamecocks are playing right now. And the alternative would be those guys mail it in. They're looking for a way out. They're looking for who their next coach is going to be. They're playing hard. So you take that for what it's worth. Other observations in terms of just the Neyland Stadium experience, again, 100,000+. It was a great environment. It was a great football game. It was your typical SEC type football game. You would know that one of these teams was 4-4 and the other was 3-5 going into it, but it was a very nice atmosphere here. The field itself, if you watch the game, you saw a lot of guys slipping out there. The turf, not in good shape, a lot of rain. It seems like it's been raining in the South since September every day, and it was slick out there, and a lot of guys were slipping, but fortunately there weren't any major injuries in terms of knees and things like that that you worry about when you're talking about a wet track like it was out there today. These two teams, this series has turned into a very entertaining one, to say the least. The past 13 meetings, 10 of them have been decided by a touchdown or less. 3 of them have gone to overtime. I think 6 of the past 11 by 3 points or less. 8 points total separating these two teams the past 3 years. But Tennessee has found a way to win all 3 of those games. So really to recap my thoughts, I'm impressed with how hard this team continues to play from South Carolina. They're losing games that they should be losing. These teams that are beating them are better than them. The Gamecocks were a 15-point underdog today for a reason. They were a big double-digit underdog against Texas A&M for a reason, but they are still finding ways to stay in games and take a lunch pail type of attitude. And this is, it's got to be good to see if you're South Carolina, knowing that they're going to take their lumps this year. What they do with their next coach is going to be crucial, but at least they have a culture of guys still fighting hard. They're not mailing it in. They're not going to go completely in the doldrums, at least not yet. There's still 3 games against really good teams coming up, but tonight they fought hard and they gave themselves a chance to win again, and that's all you can do. Sean Elliott's 1-2 as an interim head coach, but he's had his team ready and in every game. They won one of them against Vanderbilt and came up just short against Texas A&M and here against Knoxville. Appreciate you checking us out here at Sports Talk at the Stadium. Definitely go over to the website. Check out comments from Sean Elliott. Real good stuff from him that you'll want to check out. Also, Perry Orth, Sky Moore, John Hoke, who, again, I think had his defense maybe its best 3 quarters. Take those 2 touchdown drives away, and they really did a great job against Tennessee. All that, and Jonathan Walton, who is now a running back and a linebacker, scored a touchdown against Tennessee. That's for you there at the website. And we've got the Florida State Clemson game, or I should say Clemson-Florida State game from Death Valley, where the Tigers clinched the ACC. So USC, ACC Atlantic, Clemson, the ACC Atlantic champion, Florida, the SEC East champion, both of them coming up for the Gamecocks, along with the Citadel sandwiched in between. So that's going to do it here from Knoxville. Appreciate you checking it out. Sports Talk at the Stadium. Again, brought to you by our good friends over at the SEC Soybean Foundation. We really appreciate everything that they do. scsoybeans.org. Check them out, and we appreciate them making it possible for us to go on the road, to take you on the road with us, because everywhere we go, you go too. And we appreciate you checking us out here at Sports Talk at the Stadium.